welcome back to another episode of Lions Basement Banter podcast. It's a new week and the same us. So, yeah.
I mostly the same. I'm radiating a bit of red energy right now. Not the best at putting on sunscreen and going outdoors, and I spent all weekend outdoors for work. So
the
if
the fair-skinned ginger strikes again.
if I'm a little bit look a little bit like I've been exposed to radiation,
I have.
that's exactly what happened. So
all right. So, it was the second week of OTAs for the Lions. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in our main event here. I'd like to kind of start actually talking about the Ben Johnson interview that he had, I guess, press release, and they kind of asked him a bunch of questions. He kind of went through the ringer. It almost felt like he was a head coach with some of the questions that they actually asked him, and anything from whether he was happy with who they drafted. They went heavy on defense. Was he good with that? He said things like he felt they felt confident with who they had in their offensive room and what they had planned for the guys and who they expect to step up. But one thing that he said when he was asked kind of about the moving on to be a head coach and then deciding to stay in Detroit, one of his quotes was he said, I wanted the sunshine just a little bit longer. Man, does that feel good when you're talking about a Detroit sports program.
Well, it feels good, but the thing with that is just that he realizes that he's on a team that's successful right now, and as soon as he leaves here to take a coaching position, you're starting from the bottom up most likely, and you're not going to have the talent that Detroit has right now. You're going to have to get your own talent and find ways to maybe, and in some cases, retool an entire franchise, which is not easy to do.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. That's a big part of what he said for sure. He also mentioned that the fit needs to be right. He wants to be able. He's a play caller, and he wants to continue to do so. I'm sure he's going to want some say, like you said, in the talent they bring in. He's going to want some say in the draft. He's going to want all of that. Whether that was the reason why he didn't go to Washington or whoever else was courting him, regardless, the dude made me want to run through a brick wall when he said he wanted the sunshine a little longer. And I actually posted as a joke on Twitter. I actually posted that hearing him, he says that, but hearing him coming back and wanting to be here, I actually posted a meme about the song "You Are My Sunshine" because I'm pretty dang happy that Ben Johnson came back. So I know that's corny. I am a dad, so I'm allowed to make dad jokes, and that's how we roll here.
That one's actually a pretty big trend on Twitter with like LeBron and that with the "You Are My Sunshine" thing. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
No, I have not seen that.
That was a huge meme that went around about a month ago where people were just posting videos of, or like a photo of LeBron, his headshot from the NBA, and then they were like cranking the exposure up on it, so it was like blinding.
Yeah, I think I have
and
seen.
It would say "You Are My Sunshine."
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I have seen some of those.
So you inadvertently might have been a little bit, hip and in the know.
Yeah, 35-year-old dad of two. Following the trends. I'm only a month late on them is the only problem. So,
and you didn't do it on purpose. You inadvertently did.
I wasn't trying to be cool. I wasn't being cool. The next thing is Dan Campbell was actually up there also to speak, and he kind of said he was asked about the Ben Johnson thing, and what did you feel when he came back, or did you think he was gone essentially? And Dan Campbell essentially said he wasn't surprised that Ben decided to stay, and I've seen a couple of people on here that I've seen a lot of people that were excited, but I've seen a lot of people on here that were, wow, that's really almost conceited of Dan Campbell to say, and I'm okay with that. I don't really give a crap if he was conceited about it or not. Like he's confident about what they're doing here, and he you have to exude confidence in order for other people to feed off of that. And as a head coach, that's his dang job.
I just thought this whole thing, in my opinion, should tear down that insecurity among Lions fans when we get to next offseason. I know that's a long ways away. We don't even want to think about it. But when the head coach searching becomes a thing again for other teams, don't automatically just think Ben Johnson's gone because he's a top candidate and there's teams that need a head coach, because he essentially what he's saying is he is not leaving Detroit until that perfect opportunity for him becomes available. And to me, that means he's going to want to be somewhere where he's either got a quarterback in place or somewhere where he has almost the capability to draft a quarterback he sees as a sure thing.
Yep.
And next year, that's not going to happen in the draft.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
The only one that maybe you can argue would be an NFL starter would be Quinn Ewers, and I don't even know if that's a sure thing.
Depends on the day, really.
Yeah, and I don't know how many teams with established quarterbacks are going to out their coaches next year. I think maybe you're looking at possibly Antonio Pierce could lose his job next year if he doesn't produce the way he did.
That's a trial run,
and there's no quarterback there. Gardner Minshew is their quarterback with whoever else they have.
I'm surprised you're saying that's not a quarterback there.
I love Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew's not a starter in the NFL.
No,
he's a very good backup. Very good backup.
Yeah,
but he's not gonna succeed as a starter in my opinion.
But
to me, it's just great. I mean, it means Ben Johnson is here to stay until something perfect pops up for him. And he said he loves the area. He doesn't want to move his family because that's a whole thing in and of itself. So, yeah, I'm never been more confident that Ben Johnson's going to be here for a little while.
First of all, this is really silly. This is my brain how it works. I'm over here looking at my backpack, and I noticed that the brand is Terry on, and that made me excited for a second. I know that's random, but I'm looking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck? I didn't even realize. Just some cheap Amazon brand, but anyway, yeah, that was one thing I was gonna actually go into, and I'm glad you said it. Was another thing to think about is Ben Johnson's a relatively young fella. He's got a young family, I believe. And he actually said, like you said, he's not going to move on unless the fit is right. And part of what he said when he elaborated on that was, he said, I can't remember if he said there was like 10 new coaches this year. I think it was like 8 to 10. I think there was 10 coaching candidate spots this year.
There were a lot.
And he talked about, you fill all 10 of those, and he said, I don't remember what his year mark was, whether it was 2 or 3 or whatever, but he said after the second or third year, he said he would give the over-under of about 4 of those, or 4.5 of those, actually still having a job. So what he's looking for is longevity. He wants something that he can feel comfortable with his family and all that stuff. And it's possible we might have Ben Johnson for longer than we all thought. I mean, realistically, I don't know what we're paying him, but it's realistic that, he's happy here. He could genuinely be happy not being a head coach and doing what he's doing, as long as we keep winning.
Just look at the stuff like Josh McDaniels with the Patriots. And I know he had a few failed stints, within his time with the Patriots where he left and then came back, but he was always a name at the top of the list, and he almost never moved. There were
Yep.
There were twice within like a 10-year period where he took a job, and and then he was right back because he failed with that team, and he moved right back in with the Patriots. And then you've got Eric Bieniemy, who was a hot name with the Chiefs when Patrick Mahomes was rising up as a young star. And I know he's not an old star now, I wouldn't say that, but he's certified himself as an elite player now,
seasoned vet.
Yeah, but he was a hot name for the longest time. Nobody took a chance on him, and that was just because I don't know if that was more on Bieniemy's part or the league's part. I think it was more so that people didn't hire him because there was still a lot of uncertainty on what his role was with the team in terms of play calling with the I don't know if I want to say that, probably, but one of the best offensive minds ever to do it in the NFL, and Andy Reid. You got to wonder how much of the play calling was actually his responsibility. But that's opposite here because kind of Ben Johnson is the brain trust of the offense.
Yeah, and I actually think that I think a lot of times you can see on the field, or on the sideline. Obviously, this is context that I put in my own mind, but you almost see quite a few times Dan Campbell is talking to somebody on the sideline when it's decision making time and stuff. And I would not be surprised if Ben Johnson was one of those main guys. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, go for it. How are we feeling? Where I just
Well,
wouldn't be shocked.
the Lions are in a rare situation with their coaching staff where it's there isn't like a lot of hangover or crossover in terms of jobs. I think when you look at a lot of teams, you'll say, "Oh, he's the head coach, but he also is going to be responsible for most of the offense." Like
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, probably running the offense, or it does run the offense mostly. You got Andy Reid in Kansas City. D'Amico Ryan's defensively in Houston. There's just that. Dan Campbell was a tight end, so obviously he's probably got more offensive leaning there. And he studied under Sean Payton, who was a very offensive guy as well. But it certainly seems to me that Ben Johnson is the guy that makes the decisions on offense for the most part in terms of what plays they're going to run. And Aaron Glenn is the same thing on defense. And I think what Dan Campbell is kind of um, the guy that's going to,
The overseer.
yeah, he's going to oversee,
Yeah.
but he's gonna make the final decision on what happens based on the input of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But that's his role is final decision maker and game manager, and when are we going to go for it? When are we not? When are we going to bring the field goal team out? When are we not?
And I think
That's the role he embraces.
and I think he's taking. I guess what I'm saying. I think he's taking a lot of what these guys say into effect. So what I was getting at, and what you said is 100% valid based on the point I'm going to make. We need to start looking at this, and I've been on on these episodes in the past. I know, and questioning Aaron Glenn. I have. I think he's going to be good this year. We finally set him up with a defense that I think is actually going to do what he wants to do. Um, I think we're gonna run some more man to man and stuff that in Aaron Glenn defense, we're actually gonna be able to do that. What I'm getting at though is we need to start looking at this as we've got three potential head coaches. We've got our offensive, defensive coordinator, both have been in the talks for at least the last 2 years for head coaching jobs. We've obviously got our head coach in Dan Campbell, and they all get along really well, and they all buy into the culture. Like, we should start looking at it as these guys, like you're saying, all get along really well in their roles. They're doing what their role is, but we also essentially have three head coach caliber people at the top of our coaching staff. So we need to start looking at that as an exciting thing. That's a good thing. So, um, that's mainly all we had for the Ben Johnson thing. I'm really happy that he's back. I was happy when he first came back, and um, I don't really have much more to
last
say.
offseason, yeah.
Yeah,
And then this offseason again.
yeah. Let's.
It's been kind of a heart attack for 2 straight
There's been some
off-seasons.
roller coasters going on for sure. So, yeah, I was just happy to see it, and it's good to see him address all that, and it just like I said, the Dan Campbell thing, whether it was him being conceited or whatever, I really don't care if
I
he
thought
was
that was an odd time, by the way, for this question to be asked. I'm not sure if I can't
like it's
remember a
late.
hundred. Yeah, I can't remember 100% if he has been made available to the media since that whole debacle happened.
I don't think he
I
has.
thought he had at least had one interview when he decided to come back. That maybe he had one.
I think he did. Yeah, I
But
think you're right.
this really, to me, a weird time for you to throw in that question. Like that's probably in the back. Like that's way in the rear view for him. He's not even thinking about that anymore.
He's probably not, but I could also see it being Ben Johnson. He's still an offensive coordinator, so obviously he's got the storyline and all that. But as an offensive coordinator, that's really the Ben Johnson storyline. So once he comes up there and makes himself available, I mean, I could see that's just like a question as not necessarily a filler, but it's like, all right, what are we going to ask the offensive coordinator? So I see that. What are you going to ask him? What the playbook looks like? So.
Well, you usually base it more around like who's competing in OTAs with the offensive guys, who he's liked, what he saw from so
Right, any
far.
risers or
Talk about the rookies like Vaki
yep.
and Giovanni. Just talk about how they're progressing. That's usually where it lands there, and then talk about maybe the contract extensions of the new guys on offense or the old heads, I guess, on offense, and
Yeah.
and what it means to have them locked down for years. I just think it's weird to be like, this is like 3 months late, whatever, But by the way, why didn't you take that job? I just
Because
think
I
it's a
wanted to
weird thing
use
to address.
Washington's jet fuel.
Yeah.
um, so just a couple things. Actually, you're talking about standouts or people to talk about a little bit in OTAs, and I don't have a whole lot on these guys because obviously I'm not there. I didn't see much, but excuse me. A couple of guys that I've heard that are standouts here. Actually, a couple of surprising ones, and I might actually butcher a name here. Um, Wide receiver Doris Fountain. He's supposedly kind of stepping in and looking good. Khalif Raymond, they're actually saying is a major standout. They're saying don't be shocked if he's like a runaway wide receiver 3 for us. Um, he's just that guy that's flying under the radar, guys. I mean, I know we have DPJ. Everybody wants to talk about DPJ, but there's a lot of people forgetting about Leaf. I mean, that dude has come up big for us in places, whether it's blocking, we all know that, in Tampa. But whether it's that or whether it's, catching a Josh Reynolds pass, all of a sudden just coming up clutch, Josh was good at that. And Khalif seems to be that same guy. Like, I mean, if he's out there and his number's called, he shows up. So I just
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised. And then another one is linebacker Mitchell Ayude.
I don't know who he is.
We signed him to the practice squad last September, and it sounds like he's a sneaky guy to make the 53, is what I heard.
That would probably be, if I'm guessing, that would be like a special teams role for him.
It's possible. Yep.
I don't see him cracking the linebacker rotation when
He
you've
could be
got.
depth. You never know.
Yeah, but to me, in terms of this that starting rotation, I don't think he has a chance of cracking it because you've got Anzalone and Barnes who are already established themselves, in
Yep.
my opinion, as probably
The
the top
starters.
two in that
Yep.
room. Then you've got Campbell, who they spent a first round pick on. There's no way he's exiting that, and he showed sparks last year. He's just got to refine his skills a little bit more. And then you've got Rodrigo, who is just always that consistent guy that, he's an unsung hero in my opinion. I think he could be starting if they wanted to, but for some reason he's just kind of fell out of that. But he's a rotational guy. To me, I don't know if you need a fifth guy in there unless there's injury. So to me, it's either special teams or he's ending up back on the practice squad.
So this is you mentioned Rodrigo, and I kind of want to throw this out there. This is not official. I'm just letting you know. But I did see, and I didn't hear exactly everything, but I did see that Rodrigo mentioned that when he was asked about his role and what he's willing to do to essentially keep a role here, that he's willing to do anything, and the coaches are see him, with his athletic abilities and his willingness, and they've got some special things they're cooking up for him. So, I mean, are they going to put him out at tight end? I don't know. I don't know.
He did play fullback a little bit last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what he's talking about.
See him a little more.
He's going to get in there on the offense, maybe as a blocker, essentially.
And Cabinda's gone.
Yeah. So he could be. And Cabinda started out as a linebacker in his NFL career, so it could very well follow the same type of thing. Cabinda also played special teams, so we could see him doing that very same thing, plus being a rotational piece.
And Rodrigo played special teams last year. I seen him quite a few times.
Yeah, I'm sure he did I think he did in his first few years too. Just being a rookie, that's kind of what you're signing up for. You're young, you're going to play special teams most likely, especially if you're a late round pick.
Yes. So those are kind of the guys, Mitchell, Agude, whatever it is. I don't see it a huge thing, but I've just seen his name pop up quite a few times, and a lot of people are saying he's sneaky for 53. So
I like the Leaf talk. I don't know much about Doris Fountain.
He's the one that stole number 1 from Terrion, I think.
No, that was Mackenzie Alexander.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
I think it's Mackenzie. Maurice, sorry, it's Maurice Alexander.
Yeah,
my bad. Yeah. Mackenzie Alexander played for the Vikings for a while, but Maurice.
Also, he's trash.
Maurice Alexander is the one that took number 1, and he's probably going to be just like a kick returner guy.
Okay, yeah, that's my bad.
But Doris Fountain is. I think he's been around for a while. I know that name. I just can't place it, but not with the Lions, obviously. But Khalif Raymond, that's great to hear. I think Khalif is another one of those like Rodrigo unsung guys.
Mm-hmm.
He makes a lot of plays, and to be honest with you, when he's out there, I'm nervous because you don't hear about him much, so you don't know what his skill level is going to be, and it's kind of like one of those things where like last year where I'm like, why is he in and J-Mo's not in?
But then he shows up.
But then he just shows up and he's reliable. And
Mhm.
so it's good to see that he's showing even more. Maybe if he steals that wide receiver 3 spot, more credit to him. I mean,
Right.
we won't have the size that maybe, especially I know you want that tall.
Pause.
Shut up. That tall. You're an idiot. That tall X receiver.
Here's a you're an idiot. Go buy the T-shirt, guys. Get out of here with this. Gosh dang it! It's got to be every dang episode.
You. I know the way you are. You like that X receiver type. You want
I do.
that big
I do.
body guy. And
Yep.
I've said it multiple times that while it's nice, I think there's been way too much emphasis placed on having a big, tall receiver. I don't think you need that in today's NFL. If you have the speed, you're going to beat them. You don't need a 50-50 ball.
Well, let's go to Ben Johnson's offense. Speed, quickness, out in the flat, going, we're doing slants, we're doing crosses, we're doing stuff like that. We don't do a whole lot of over-the-top stuff, and if we do over-the-top stuff, it's because someone was able to take the stinking, top off, essentially, and do a JMO speed run across the stinking field.
Let's be honest, how many times last year did we really memorably see Lions player make a 50-50 catch?
Another thing.
They just don't need to. I've seen J-Mo do it a few times, but that's because that was one of those over-the-top opportunities you're talking about, and he is one of those taller receivers on the team.
Yeah.
He just happens to have the speed as well.
Another thing to point out, and I'm going on record as saying my opinion of Jared Goff last year is top 5 quarterback. I'm saying that before I say what I'm going to say. Jared Goff is not a good deep ball passer. He constantly underthrows people. It is what it is. But we play to his strengths. He plays to our strengths. And I think with the speed and, that's why Amon-Ra's done so well. Is he a slant merchant? Who gives a crap, man? I mean, who cares? He catches the ball, he's got the speed, and he gets the yak. I mean, that's how we roll. That's what our quarterback is good at, and that's what he's good at. So who cares? I mean, yeah, I want the X receiver, but if we can't get the ball to him, or I shouldn't say that because Goff is plenty capable, but I'm just saying there are a lot of throws that he underthrows people on deep passes.
He's not going to be Josh Allen.
Right.
He's not going to bomb it 60 yards down the field or whatever, but he has the arm strength. It's just not his forte.
It's just not his forte. Yeah, and I'm not taking anything away from Jared Goff. I know there's a bunch of people on here, especially this last week, that got kind of mad at the way people were ranking Jared Goff. But I'll be honest with you guys. Like I said, I think he's a top 5 quarterback right now as it stands. Does that change? I don't know. But he's a top 5 quarterback, not because he's, what do they say, a system quarterback or whatever. No. But we have built a system that works for the quarterback. Why the hell would you not do that? That's, it's like drafting Jahmyr Gibbs and then, trying to run him like Jerome freaking Bettis. Like, that doesn't work. You build around the guy that you have and his skill set, and that's what we've done. So is he a system quarterback because we put a system in place to make him succeed? I don't know. I guess you guys make the call, but yeah, that's all I got to say on that. I'm just saying. So So I just want to stop for just a second. We're going to talk about the people who have their stock has gone down in OTAs from the last week, is what it sounds like. But I do want to point out that we were supposed to have Brad Holmes Bulge and Courtney, Mama Courts, on here. They had something come up this week, and so nothing bad or anything, just some personal stuff, and we're hoping to get them on next week. So, everything hopefully will work out and we can do that next week. So if you guys see that we redid the graphic below, that's why I'm saying it, because we will have them on eventually here. So, all right, let's move on to
stock down players.
The stock down players. Yeah. One that makes me a little happy. Just because.
And one that I see is going to make you really sad.
I'm going to cry at the end. That's why I put him at the end. Kendall Vildor, cornerback, struggled a little bit last year, but it's because of the position he was put into. We've touched on that. We're not going to go into that too much more. He's not a cornerback 1. He's not a cornerback 2. That's just not the way he is. Most teams he's going to be probably a special teamer at best. We had him out there in an NFC Championship game. His stock is down. I don't know what his stock is down based on, whether it's based on him being available as a starter in the NFC Championship game or what. But his stock is down. And it's possible that we are just strong at cornerback now. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Well, he's
But
gonna. Yeah, I don't know. Kendall Vildor. I think people put too much stock into that one play he had in the NFC Championship, and we all know the one we're talking about. Bounce off his head,
yep.
helmet, hands, whatever. It lands perfectly in the hands of Brandon Ayuk. But I mean, what a freak play! First of all, like it's hard to make that catch, to turn your body and make that kind of catch, but most of the times, 9 out of 10 times, maybe more than that, that ball is falling to the ground harmlessly. He broke it up.
Big ups to Brandon Ayuk. Should be a wide receiver one on a team. I'm just saying, like, he is
So
a good
you're
player.
saying he should get paid, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I am saying that. Yes. I will stand on that.
I think the problem with San Francisco, and we're going to get off on a tangent here.
They've got too many players.
No. The problem with San Francisco is for some reason they have this blind loyalty to Deebo Samuel, and I don't know why, because Deebo Samuel, as good as he is only available for like half of their games, and when he is available, he just doesn't show the hustle or the heart for the game that you want out of your one of your top paid players. I thought, honestly, if I'm the GM of the 49ers, I probably would have traded away Debo in the draft to get like a premium pick, because somebody would have given up at least a second rounder for him. I'm sure they could have squeezed a first rounder out of somebody, possibly, if they pick swapped. I'll give a first rounder to you this year, and then you take our second next year, or whatever.
Yep.
But I think they're stupid for that. And I think Brandon Ayuk showed that he is way more productive than Debo is last year. I don't think, in terms of fantasy-wise, I know that's a little bit different, but I would not have drafted Debo over top of Brandon Ayuk at all, ever.
No. Crazy. Debo is a freak athlete. I'm going to throw that out there. The dude is a freak athlete.
He is. He's lazy, though.
He is. And you're going to say you're an idiot. Here comes the tagline. It's coming. But, leading up to that championship game, I'm talking the NFC championship, I kept saying he's the paper boy who doesn't deliver, because he's there, he's got the ability, but he's made of paper, and he just is always hurt, and he never, ever, ever delivers in big spots. He just doesn't.
Why are you saying I'm going to say you're an idiot for that? That's literally the same thing or not literally the same thing, but that's,
I don't know, for using
hand in hand for exactly what I just said. So.
I'm saying, for using the analogy or whatever, you're going to say I'm an idiot, but whatever.
No, I mean,
okay,
no,
so anyway,
I'm
saying say I'm wearing number 19 on the San Francisco.
Okay, now here we go again.
All right.
If I was a D1 athlete, I could throw this football over them mountains over there.
Yeah, we would have won the
Uncle Rico.
We would have won the GLIAC championship. Shout out Grand.
Get out of here.
Shout out Grand Valley. Coach would have grabbed me out of the stands and put me in fourth.
First off, how sad is it that you went to the GLIAC out of all the things? You could have gone dreamed high and gone like Division I, like the Big Ten championship.
Because my team already won that. Because it's where I went to college, man. All right, let's move on, man, before this gets too bad.
So we got two more on your stock down list.
Yeah, the next one I'm not super shocked by. Again, this is another one that's possibly because the room is so good. Jamar Jefferson, running back, his stock is apparently down as well. Again, these are ones that I've seen on a couple lists, and just kind of out there. I think we might be solid at running back without him, and I think it might be Sion Vaki might be taking his spot, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The problem with the running back is that they're a dime a dozen.
Yep.
So you probably get in the Lions case, you've got two really good running backs who are no doubt going to make the roster, and then you've got a bunch of guys that you're just kind of who's going to come out on top. They're all probably around the same skill level, but it's who's going to put in that extra work and who has the versatility to do multiple things. And Jamar Jefferson, probably just going to be a practice squad guy again.
Yep.
The same as he has been for the past few years. I know he was, if I'm right remembering here, I think I am. I looked it up here, but I think he was one of those guys in that first draft class for Dan Campbell. So
yes.
He was just kind of a depth piece that they picked up. He wasn't going to be a starter or like a mass contributor in any way, but I just don't see him getting in there with the competition he has. You've still got Craig Reynolds. You've still got Bam Knight who's out there. You still got Vaki. There's too much competition. He has no way. This is essentially an audition preseason for him to make another squad.
Yeah, and I think it's possible that that Bam and Zonovan is out on this team as well. To be honest with you, I
Could
could
be.
see it.
He could also. I'm not gonna say he does because I know the loyalty they have to Craig Reynolds and what he's shown in the minimal amount of snaps he's gotten. But he could outwork Craig and have that age factor on his side.
That's true.
He's younger. He's only like fourth year in the league, something like that.
Yep.
So he's still pretty young. I know he had one like knee injury or something that kept him out during his time with the Jets. But if he stays healthy, he's younger. He's got that on his side. So if it comes down to these two guys are the same level, but one of them is younger, we could have for longer, they're going to go with that guy most likely.
Yeah, and I could see Craig on the outs as well. He's kind of one of those guys that I'm watching. We wouldn't even be having this conversation if he hadn't gotten that touchdown on the one where he wasn't supposed to be in because coach would have had his butt. But the last one for stock down is defensive lineman Levi Onwuzurike. Yeah. I've been a fan of this dude since they drafted him. I'll be honest with you, he's kind of the same feeling I had about Shane Zylstra. I think he's good. He's got all the tools. He's got all the abilities, but he's just not. It just isn't working.
You have that for Shane Zylstra?
I think Shane Zylstra. I'm not saying he's a Gronkowski. I'm not saying he's a Sam Laporta. I'm saying I think that Shane Zylstra could be a Brock Wright or better. I just think he has the intangibles. He's got the size. He's got what he needs. Same with Levi. Like if his back wasn't absolute trashed, if he wasn't constantly hurt, I feel like he's got what he needs to be there, but I just don't. It's not working out. It's just not working out.
There's the injury aspect, but there's also the fact that they just drafted a guy who plays the same position, and who was regarded as at probably a 4th-round pick, and he just got picked up in the 6th round. I'm blanking on his name. The guy from LSU, you remember what his name is?
Yeah, Mekhi Wingo.
There you
go.
Yep, thank you. Mekhi Wingo is the guy that they picked up, and I think he's just going to slot right in and take Levi's spot. Levi didn't have that big of a role this year. When he got healthy, he played, and he had some flashes, but there just wasn't enough there to show you that he's going to stay healthy and that he's going to have a major impact on this team enough to justify keeping him on the 53-man roster.
Yeah, I kind of looked at his stats, and he had like 1 tackle all year.
Yeah, and I wasn't really talking about stat-wise. What I mean is like
making an impact.
Yeah, just watching. Like I think there were a few plays where he was in there where I remember watching him, and he got significant pressure on the quarterback, or he moved the pocket at least. And that's not going to show up in your stats.
Right. Yeah, no. That's true.
Obviously, but
that's true.
And another quote I can pull from you that goes along with that I saw Dan Campbell say this week is he doesn't care about sacks. He does not care about sacks.
Yes.
He wants to see the pressures, and he just.
It's what happens when you get those pressures.
He cares about affecting the quarterback rather than ending the play with the quarterback on the ground. He's okay if that happens, obviously, but what he's looking for is, are we making him uncomfortable?
Disrupt their offense.
Yeah, and are we, taking their offense off their schedule?
Yep, exactly. That's a good point, and that's just the kind of thing when Dan Campbell says it. It's just it feels good for him to say that because let's go to Hutch. I mean, everybody put all this. Oh my gosh, Hutch only had so many sacks. Dude, the dude was he second? I think he was second in the league in quarterback pressures or hurries.
Yeah, he was right up there with like Max Crosby and TJ Watt.
Like, how can you ask any more of him? He's not going to get a sack on every play. And plus, look at what they had for a defensive line. Like, you guys got to be excited about what this year is going to look like. I mean, if Davenport does anything, like, this is going to be beautiful. If Matthew Betts does anything, James Houston, this could be a beautiful defensive line.
I just think, in my opinion, why are we even talking about that? Because do we not realize how hard it is to get double-digit sacks in this league and to do it with nobody across from you, essentially?
Yep.
He's done it 2 straight seasons. The first in his rookie season, he had it wasn't that much more, but he had more sacks this season than he did in his rookie season. So he's incrementally improving. If we get him that help on the other side, or at least in the interior where somebody's going to eat up a double team
Just get a
that's
push.
usually coming his way,
Yep.
he's going to be a monster.
Yep.
We've got anyone. I don't think it's as much of a factor now, but if anyone is down on Aiden Hutchinson or thinks that he's just not producing the way that he should be, just stop because you're wrong.
Think about this. Joey Bosa is a beast, right? He's a beast. He played marginally better with Khalil Mack on the other side of him. Marginally. I mean, like, I wish I had the stats in front of me, but I mean, like, he took a jump when Khalil Mack was on the other side of him. It's like, if you have help, it's going to help. And that's also going to help our secondary. Like, everything should gel together if we can get that push on the line.
And that works vice versa there, too, because
buy him some time to get to the quarterback.
Yes. I'm talking about your Chargers situation. Bosa may have improved this year. I don't remember. I didn't hear his name as much, but Khalil Mack improved a ton.
He had like 5 sacks in a game, or 6 sacks in a game.
5 sacks in a game. It's like,
yeah, that was crazy.
When you have two guys like that, the defense has to choose who they're going to, or the offense has to choose who they're going to deal with.
Right.
You cannot block everybody.
Right, and I was listing off some role players, but you are 100% correct. If James Houston is that guy, if he's anything near what we think he can be, that defensive line starter. Is freaking scary.
We can do that on another show, but that's my projected starter across from Aiden Hutchinson right now. It is James Houston. I don't know if you can keep that man off the field if he's healthy. He is a game wrecker. You have got to put him out there.
Yeah, we extended him for a reason. So that Levi I think you even talked about it. It was last week or the week before. Like, Levi might very well be off the team. I mean, it really is realistic.
I'm counting him off right now. I don't even think he has a shot at making the team at this point.
Anybody wants some football cards of Levi for a really high price? I've got them for sale.
Really high price?
I had to throw it out there.
If there was a black button, I'd be doing it right now.
I've also got some oceanfront property in Arizona or whatever for sale too. But so let's move on. Those are kind of the movers and shakers of the OTAs this last week. But PFF came out with a roster ranking, and this is based on, like, right now. It was like a pre-June 1st roster ranking, and the NFL they ranked Ravens ahead of us. They ranked the Ravens first, then the Jets, then the Eagles, then the Chiefs, then the Niners, then us. What the heck are the Jets doing in this freaking list, man?
Let's start.
What are the Jets doing in this list?
First of all, I'm going to say this. There is no way I'm putting the Jets, the Chiefs, the Niners, and honestly, let me stop that.
Eagles.
I'm not putting any of these teams above the Lions.
The Eagles lost a Hall of Fame center.
That's fine. What I'm saying is the
Lions
were better than the Eagles, in my opinion, as a full unit last year.
And we got better.
Even with Jason Kelce. They lost, like you just said, they lost their Hall of Fame center.
They lost the tush push.
The young guy, I think it's Cam Jurgens is his name, maybe, who's going to slide in and replace him, and that's fine. He'll probably be.
He said Jurgens and slide in the same sentence. Just saying.
Shut up. I'm not going to say it, but shut up. So
I'm trying to force him out of you.
To me, that's fine. They're probably the number 2 offensive line in the league for me right now, but the Lions are still ahead of them. Even though we lost Jonah Jackson, the problem with him was he was always injured, and we just pulled in a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, like, come on.
And let's talk about the Ravens. They just lost a Pro Bowler.
A very like serious. I say serious. There's nothing really that serious on Twitter, but a very serious Twitter account for the Rams called our offensive line a piecemeal offensive line this week. Like,
a what?
A piecemeal offensive line. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? So you take Jonah Jackson from us. We end up getting a Pro Bowler back, which, I mean, yeah, Jonah Jackson was a Pro Bowler, but like a more proven Pro Bowler.
Who was it? Do you know who this guy was?
I don't remember.
Was it freaking like Ramsaholic or whatever his name is?
I don't remember.
There's this guy named Ramsaholic who's just the most
He's a
idiotic
troll. He's a
human
troll.
being. No, he's like legitimately like verified. I know you can pay to be verified. He's verified. He's got a lot of followers. I think he does his own show. But it makes me laugh because he's just a bad person. Like he came out after that Harrison Butker thing happened,
Yeah.
and was supporting Harrison Butker. He was like, "Man, I really love how this guy just speaks his mind. Great for him for doing it." I'm like, "Are you just kidding me right now?" Like after some of the things he said about keeping women in the kitchen, essentially. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's.
But anyway, moving on from that.
Yeah, let's move on.
The Ravens, to me, yes, they made a trade and they got a new offensive tackle, which was part of their problem last year. They shored that up by getting Morgan Moses. Still not going to put them up there. I think they're top 5. I don't think they're going to be top 3 for me. I am shocked to not see the Rams on this list. I will say that because the Rams have
Really.
Yes, I think the Rams are a left tackle away from having a top 3 offensive line. They don't have that left tackle, but what they did get, they just got Jonah Jackson from us.
Yeah, they're talking overall roster though.
Oh, I thought you said offensive line.
No, but I was saying the Eagles because they lost a Hall of Fame offensive lineman. Yeah.
I'm off my rocker here then.
Okay.
Well, this makes a little bit more sense.
The Jets still shouldn't be in there.
I don't think the Jets or the Ravens should.
The Eagles probably shouldn't be that high.
No, I could see the Eagles just because they've got a lot of talent at prime positions. They've got
that's
AJ
true.
Brown, Devontae Smith. They just got Saquon Barkley. Their offensive line is what it is. They've got a good defense.
They got hurt.
Yeah, so like I can see that. That's fine. The Jets, no. The Jets just no. The Jets have some older guys. They got Aaron Rodgers coming off a torn Achilles,
gimping around out there in OTAs.
Yeah, you've got young guys that are having decent seasons but aren't proven yet. And the Ravens, they did just pick up Derrick Henry, so I'll give them that. But like their wide receiver room, what is that? Their defensive back room, not that impressed anymore.
No.
I think the Lions should be top 5 in this list at the very least.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that the Chiefs, honestly, why? Because they got the best quarterback in the NFL. Is that why they automatically get that high? I mean, they got Pacheco, yeah, but their wide receivers are unproven.
They've got the best tight end in
wide
the
receivers
league.
are unproven.
I know, but that's about the
They
only
don't
thing.
have the best tight end in the league anymore. They
do. They still do. Sam Laporta's probably he's top 3, and that's interchangeable at any given point when you're talking about based on what skill set. But overall, Travis Kelce is still the best in the league. I know he had a down year last year.
Yeah, I think the Lions should, like you said, be in the top 5. We were talking about the Chiefs. We were talking about Travis Kelce. I guess maybe he's up there as number 1, but I would say him and Mark Andrews, in my opinion, are 1A and 1B. Sam Laporta's 2. And that's 1 year, though.
George
Kittle's always hurt. George Kittle never shows up.
Is always hurt.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would put. I like Mark Andrews, and I think his ceiling is so high when he's on the field, but I'm not sure I'm putting him above Kittle or Laporta or.
You know
Kelce.
what? I'm actually going to argue with myself. Shocker. That one might be a system. He might be a good tight end because of the system, because they put Isaiah Likely in there, and Isaiah Likely showed out for a while.
Yeah, and also let's say this too. He's having a lot of production because he's being targeted the most. Because who do they have at wide receiver? Who did they have? Odell, washed up Odell.
Yep.
Rashad Bateman.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers is. I forgot about him. He's going to be good this year.
Yeah.
He was still developing.
Okay, fine. You talked me into it. Okay, Travis Kelce's still 1.
Yeah.
I hate saying that, but that is
so.
The case.
Then I would say more of a 2A 2B situation. With
Corey, if you're listening, screw you, man.
That's
our brother.
Yeah.
He's a Chiefs fan.
2A 2B, Kittle and Laporta. But
Yeah.
I don't know who's where at this point. But
you don't have Hawk in there. You forgot Hawk.
There's a lot of good tight ends, but I still think based off this year,
Yeah.
Laporta had a better year.
To me, if you're going to put Hawk in there, you're going to put Tyler Higbee in there. You're going to put...
I don't want Tyler Higbee anywhere near that list.
You're going to put...
Darren Waller. Came out with an absolute banger of a diss against...
No. I don't even know what to say, man. That thing, I listened to it like 50 times, and then it got stuck in my head, and I'm like, son of a gun.
Thing?
Yeah.
Did you see his Kelsey Plum doppelganger stab him in the back?
Yeah. Okay, stop. We gotta stop. You can't be breaking people down like that.
Why? That's hilarious.
Man.
He deserves that. You really recorded that all professionally and thought, yeah, this one's gonna hit.
Listen, man,
I'm gonna post that.
okay. It is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, so shout out for sure. He's doing something to express himself. I totally feel that, but like, there were different ways to do it. That's all I'm saying. Write a poem.
What the heck was that though?
Write a
That wasn't
poem.
even like I don't even think that was him getting his mental health or like doing something to improve his mental health and trying to get his feelings out there.
No, because he was writing it as
An
her.
idiot.
He was writing it as her. He did say he wrote it as her from her point of view or something, and then he gets stabbed in the back by her. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand
Wrote
it. I
from her
don't get
point
it.
of view, but I made her look like an absolute like jerk. She
Right.
stabbed me in the back and walked away smiling.
Okay, stop. All right, moving on. We gotta move on.
We all know the real reason he divorced her, and it's that video that circulated of her eating popcorn at a WNBA. Or
I did see people saying that.
NCAA game. That's
Yeah,
exactly
going
why
crazy
that
or
happened.
whatever.
She was auditioning for that Smile movie, the sequel.
No, stop, man. You are on one now, man. Get out of here.
All
with
I gotta
this.
say is, and you probably won't get this reference, but
Okay, you're old.
Uncanny Valley. That's all I've got to say.
No, I don't get that
Yeah,
reference. I'm old.
anyone
Whatever.
else that knows, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's what that gives me. Uncanny Valley.
I don't get it. Candy Valley. I don't know. All right, let's move on to the last part of our main event. Lions. What is it? Jeffrey Chadia. I think he's an NFL columnist. He came out with a ranking for the most improved roster after the draft and free agency, or the first big round of free agency here. Lions were ranked fourth. He ranked the Bears first, the Eagles second, and the Jets third.
I really don't know how that works out because I don't think the Lions are that much improved. I just think they were good already, and they added a little bit to pick up the weaknesses of what they had last year. So I don't know if I would put them in a most improved conversation. I think if you're talking like most improved position groups, then maybe you could say Lions corners because that's definitely in there.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, they didn't really change much else. Everything else is basically the same.
We didn't improve the kicker.
Yeah. Yep. And we'll talk. I got some stuff to talk about kicker when we get to the.
Okay.
But
okay.
yeah, to me, it doesn't make sense for us to be there. Bears make sense. They made a lot of moves.
Yep.
They're improved on paper. We'll see if it translates.
Yep.
Eagles. I don't. Can somebody tell me what the Eagles did to like improve that much to have them at 2?
They had a lot of draft picks.
I mean,
but
I understand the Cooper DeJean and the Quinyon Mitchell picks were massive.
But then here we are, like you said. That's one position group. Yeah.
Where else did they significantly improve? I mean, I guess running backs too. They got Saquon, and they didn't really. DeAndre Swift had that flash in the pan game that made him.
We all thought he was back.
NFL for some reason. But, I don't know. I don't get it. To me, these lists are all really weird.
It's the off season. Everybody's bored, man. We're all just putting content out. But it's I don't know. I don't know how you would rank that. I will say I hate having to say this, but I will. I think you did just do it too, but I will give the Bears their flowers. I will say they've got to be top 3 most improved based on the draft and free agency. They've got to be up there. Do I think they're going to do anything with it? No.
Notice how I gave him a compliment, but then dug at him the second after. So it's yeah, they really improved a lot on paper. Let's see if that translates.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to our next segment. We're gonna go to That Was Random, and we'll start out down in Florida. The Dolphins signed Jalen Waddle to a 3-year extension for $84.75 million.
Yeah, big contract.
That's a big contract for wide receiver too. And guess what?
Deserved though. He's
deserved.
Wide receiver 1 on most other teams.
It is deserved, but hold on. Before the Amon-Ra signing, the highest paid receiver I think was
Tyreek
Hill. So it was either him or AJ Brown or some. No, AJ Brown got it.
Yeah, it's AJ Brown, I think.
Okay, so what I'm getting at though is they've got 2 receivers that are way up there. I think we did a really good job getting Amon-Ra when we did, extending him when we did, because that's a wide receiver too. You can say he plays as a wide receiver 1, whatever. On that team, he's the second wide receiver. And that's what they're getting paid now. Now look what's about to happen. We're going to look like geniuses when we look back at Amon-Ra's.
Well, first, before I get to what I was going to say, I'll say this too. Along with these other contracts that are happening, we also had a rumored Nico Collins deal that came out. And
I forgot about that one.
I don't remember exactly what the pricing was, but it was a few million less than what Amon-Ra was making annually. So, I mean, pretty. And Nico Collins hasn't had nearly the production that Amon-Ra's had in his entire career. So, good deal for the Lions. Second, what I was going to say is they just paid Jalen Waddle that money, and I just heard rumblings coming out this week that now Tyreek Hill wants a new deal.
Yeah, he wants a hire. I did see that.
And the joke is because he's got so much more child support to pay.
He's got like 4 more buns in the oven. We just don't know about it yet.
Someone just said on X, they were like, didn't he literally say that he was going to retire after this contract? Like once this contract with the Dolphins was up, he was done. And somebody said, yeah, but he can't anymore because he keeps popping children. He keeps getting children out in the world. He's got to keep making money for child support.
He's he must be running the Nick Cannon fan club or something at this point. I don't know, but yeah, that's
he's in a competition.
Yeah, I don't know who's winning at this point, but
Nick Cannon's got him by like 20.
So that's what we got on that. I'm just gonna honestly say the only reason I pointed that out is because, like I said, I think the Amon-Ra deal was shocking at first for some people. I think if you look back at it this time next year, you're gonna say, "We freaking dude." So, all right, let's go to the next one. Troy Weaver is gone. Yeah, let's party, man. All right, we're back to. I don't know if you guys can see it. I've got soundboard. Let's go. Yeah, you can see it. The Detroit Pistons poster is still up after my rant last week. I actually came on and posted a short video, just saying, Langdon, maybe you are worth a darn, because that's the first move you made. Gores, like I said, you're still an idiot. You still don't know how to run a team, but maybe Langdon can carry you for a while. He made a move with a set of balls for once. So they offered Troy Weaver like a basketball scouting spot, and he turned it down. I can't imagine him finding a job that's any better than that, but
he will.
Maybe.
He'll land somewhere where he'll get like an assistant GM or somewhere higher. It's
maybe. I don't know.
The way his track record, I know he doesn't have a great track record with the Pistons, but he's got a resume that shows that he's capable of doing other things. Just maybe leave the Pistons off.
Yeah, you just crossed that one off. Sir, what have you done for the last 5
unemployed
years? Yeah,
redacted.
All right. Yeah. So happy days there. Yep. The Tigers still suck. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Unfortunately, Torque. I think I saw something about this. This isn't even in our notes.
I thought that they were doing good or something. In the last few games. Not him, but
they did. They had one really good game where they played basically moonball with Toronto, and they scored like 14 runs or 15 runs or something. But Torque has gone. He had one game where he went like 3 for 4, but outside of that, he's 0 for 35.
Oh yeah, no, I knew he's been playing like trash. The deciding factor where I knew he was playing like trash is when somebody told me that he has more strikeouts this season than Javi Baez.
Yeah.
And that one was like, oh wow, yeah, he really does suck.
Yeah, it's a slider, low and away. It's a strikeout. Yeah. So I wish the Tigers would do something too. They need to spend some money. I'm not going to go into that any farther, but it's time to spend some money, you guys. They need to.
All right, let's move on to
let's move on to
Bears OTAs.
Yeah, Bears OTAs last week. This isn't this weekend, but this last weekend. Reportedly, Caleb Williams was benched during 7-on-7 because he threw 7 straight interceptions, and he was told essentially to stop trying to be what the Bears had last year and gotten rid of, and that is referring to Justin Fields, and to just play his ball.
I didn't hear this report. I did hear there were some things about him struggling, but I hadn't heard this, so I can't speak on it, to be honest.
The thing is, if it is true, like I said, it's reportedly. If it is true, this is exactly what I said. I think you and I both said. Like, he's a backyard football player. He runs around. He waits for the receivers to break off their routes. Then he tries to find them. He's trying to be Justin Fields, but he doesn't have what Justin Fields has as a runner.
He's a great college quarterback.
Yep.
We just don't know if what he does is gonna be able to be done in the NFL. I don't think so, but
no, I know this makes you mad every time I say it, but he is a Johnny Manziel 2.0.
Don't ever put him in the same
I'm
conversation.
telling you, they are the same player.
Johnny
they
Manziel
are the same player.
Okay, and I don't care if somebody thinks I'm an idiot for this one. Johnny Manziel would have been a great, maybe not a great, but he would have been a very good NFL starter had he actually watched a minute of tape.
I knew it. The implied himself was coming.
Look at what he did for the Browns while he was there. He was exciting. He made plays. They even won some games when he was there. There was some talk that he could be the long-time starter.
Don't even give me that crap. He was exciting. Freaking Rory dancing in the crowd is exciting. I don't give a crap.
Okay, but tell me what the Browns
sucked.
What did the Browns have to be excited about around there?
Johnny Manziel.
Came in. He was like, he caught a pass. He caught a touchdown. He was like,
I'm not saying he wasn't worth the price of admission. I'm not saying he wasn't worth the price of admission.
I'm telling you, he was good.
In college.
Let me tell you something. He was decent as a rookie for the Browns. He was decent as a rookie. We found out he didn't watch any tape. Wasn't applying himself whatsoever.
So funny.
And he was decent as a Browns quarterback. Imagine if he had watched tape, studied defenses, applied himself, not gone out on the weekends and stuffed cocaine up his nose or whatever he was doing. He would have been much better.
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible. I think when he went to the Browns, their cursed quarterback situation got him. That might be what happened.
That's true. He might have been better had he landed on a different team even. And the Browns, I don't think were in any position to be reprimanding players or getting on them. I think they were like, well, we're just happy that we have somebody.
We're selling tickets. Yeah, yeah. That's the second time we've jinxed each other there. But
so anyway, let's stop talking about Johnny Manziel because you're not going to win that conversation with me.
I've already won it.
No, you haven't.
Viewers, who won? Anyway.
You know that Johnny Manziel was fun to watch, and he was.
I'm not saying he wasn't fun to watch. I'm agreeing with that.
Shut up. He had a capability of being a good quarterback. He just did not apply himself. He would have been a good quarterback, and I will for the rest of the time I'm alive. I will go on to Xbox and play former Madden just so I can play with Johnny Manziel.
I can't believe you don't just create him on the new one.
That's so boring. This is the one thing with me. I hate playing Maddens where like people create rosters for like the next year's draft and they don't have their faces. Or
that's so picky.
I know. Or like they do it and like they're the way Madden's set up is with like the incoming rookies for some reason their body types are so wonky. They're like they look like super scrawny in one like and certain players will look like a quarterback and his arms are like twigs and he's got the long sleeves that no quarterbacks
so picky,
wear.
Dude.
It just looks goofy to me and it makes me mad because I'm like I'm supposed to have this like all-star caliber Heisman quarterback, and he looks like somebody just picked him up out of like a freaking anorexia recovery center or something.
Oh my gosh, that's just oh my gosh. What are you gonna do for NCAA then? I mean,
that's gonna be fun because then it can import the draft classes is what you're supposed to be able to do. I will be.
Are they gonna look the same?
I will be pre-ordering that, by the way. We can talk about. Let's just move into that.
I texted you and asked you about that earlier, and
you
I
asked
said
me
you've
if I had
done
bought
it.
it, and I thought maybe you had thought it already came out because they released.
No, I was saying pre-sale.
I'm gonna pre-order it because I always pre-order Madden anyway because I like to get those 3 early days just because I don't know. I'm always so hyped for Madden to come out. I don't care if it's the same game year after year. I love playing with the new rookies. I like matching the rosters.
Pause.
Okay, shut up. I like to do all kinds of stuff. So I'll like pull in rookies and just make an all rookie team and then just go like do that kind of stuff.
What the heck? So you draft like you just put all the rookies on one team?
I'll edit the rosters or I'll do like a fantasy draft and I'll just because nobody goes after the rookies early. I'll just pull them all in.
Oh God! And then they're all 99 overall in 2 years.
In most years, probably don't have to do it this year, but in most years I'll take who the Lions should have drafted, who I would have wanted them to draft. I'll just make a trade.
That's not going to work though. I mean, you're going to want to get rid of.
I don't have to do that anymore because I like who the Lions draft.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's mad because he went to draft he imported a draft and it had Giovanni Manu and he was like 4'9" and weighed like 133 pounds.
Like the tiny Titan glitch.
Yeah.
You guys remember?
Yes.
You remember that one?
Yes.
They had the player that was like literally this tall on your screen, and he was like leveling guys on the field, and people were getting so mad
As
because
if
they're
he
like,
had the
"What?
same-
My guy's just tripping."
It looks like an ant.
As the guy just like an ant-sized player
Yeah.
just bodying guys on the field.
One-
Anyway, I am hyped for that game.
Okay, I know. I'm a little bummed. I mentioned to somebody on here on X that I would be okay with leaving it in the past. I'm a little bummed that you can't play mascots. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think
It was only fun for a minute, but it was still fun. So
I think there's problems that come out with that because I think there's some that are like controversial or something. I think is what somebody said. Like there's still some controversial mascots that they can't use.
some like San Diego dirtbags or something. Or
Also, like just think about like the Seminoles.
oh yeah, they had them though.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah, nobody back then either people didn't care enough to like talk about that, or they were just openly racist at that point.
That
so,
or you might end up with somebody who accidentally they might have not understood the artwork when they were making the Gamecocks.
So
I'm just saying, man.
Freaking rooster, get out of here. No, I think the only thing I would miss is playing as the Stanford trees. There's nothing. There's nothing better than
the Syracuse orange.
Yeah, to me there was nothing more fun than running around with a Stanford tree.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm more excited that we get to play with college players as college players.
Cool. It is going to be cool.
I don't have to play with this no-name guy who's got the same number as a guy on my favorite college team. That's supposed to be him, but it's not.
Yeah.
I liked the aspects.
The white Will Johnson.
they added some stuff. I saw they did their gameplay trailer and they did some cool things. They try to make it unique from Madden. And one of those biggest things is the durability factor that they added, where if your quarterback, for instance, is taking hits to his throwing arm, it's going to break him down faster, and there's more of a chance of him having injury and not being able to play, which is much more prevalent in the college game because you don't have, unless you're at an Alabama or whatever, you're not going to have that NFL caliber like offensive line in front of you to block.
Right.
There's some guys that might be, some guys that might not be.
Are they going to do things like the X Factor and like all that stuff in this one?
I didn't see that. I don't.
I kind of hope not.
I don't remember. I don't know, but they did that. They did they made, which they also did in Madden to a certain extent, but they did like home field advantage type things, where like if you're
is that progressive like Madden?
No, not like where you build
on
momentum
the top,
and then you get different abilities.
Yeah.
That's not what happens.
Okay.
What happens is it's got like your stadium gets a rating, I think, essentially based on what their home field advantage is, and that makes the crowd level higher. Which, yes, sorry, I just thought superstar type abilities are going to be in the game because he said the guy that was narrating said there's some quarterbacks that are going to have the like mental factor or whatever where they're not phased as much by noise. So you're going to have these super loud stadiums, and if you have a quarterback that doesn't have that,
cool under pressure,
your screen's going to be shaking a little bit.
Yeah, that's
when
cool.
you go to do audibles or to like look at the routes your receivers are running.
And Madden does that.
It does that wiggly line thing where you can't see. But if you're a quarterback that has that ability, then it won't affect you to that.
That's cool.
That's cool. Effect. But
I'm excited for it too.
Yeah,
I wish it was cheaper.
There's a lot of cool stuff coming. Well, honestly, it's not bad for if you're doing the bundle. You're getting 2 games for like 100, 150.
Oh, you're saying the Madden and the
yeah.
You're
getting 2 games for like 150, right?
I think it was 150 or 160 something.
Yeah, so somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
But like, if you're getting the full Madden bundle, usually that's like $100 by itself.
Oh, so this is like the ultimate. Like it gives you the ultimate.
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. I think you get like MUT rewards and that.
Okay, yeah. Yep. Okay.
But, no, it looks really fun to me. I will be pre-ordering eventually once I get off my my like teetering thing of I don't want to spend that money.
EA Sports, you guys owe us because we're basically throwing out your product here. So
I don't think that But if anyone wants to make a donation to my GoFundMe for,
You don't have a GoFundMe. It's Buy Me a Coffee.
no, it's my GoFundMe for.
You started your own GoFundMe.
Underappreciated podcast hosts.
You're an idiot.
So,
man,
that's good. Anyway, we'll move on to our next thing here. We'll stay in Michigan.
Our last
little piece here. We got Michigan. Some Michigan news in terms of football, not University of Michigan, but the Michigan Panthers of the UFL.
Let's go Panthers.
They're in the playoffs. We knew that was coming. Obviously, that had been decided a while ago, but we just saw them play the Birmingham Stallions.
Yep.
We saw them play them in Birmingham, and essentially what this game was it decides home field advantage. They played
which they didn't think was going to be the case.
Yeah, they played
last week.
Panthers played the Stallions at their last regular season game, and then they'll play them their first postseason game is how that works. So that decided home field advantage. The Stallions did win, but
19-20.
But the Panthers did look really good early on. They took a touchdown lead. It was like 14-6 at one point, and they looked like they were going to hang tough and possibly win that game. And they did have a chance to win the game.
They lost twice.
And here's where I talked about earlier where we're going to talk about the kicker.
Yeah.
They had a chance to make a game-winning field goal. Jake Bates missed it. And
you're allowed one, Jake. It's all good, man.
Well, he has not just missed one. He is 17 for 22 this year.
Oh, man, that's tough. That's worse than I thought. And they're all
77% is what he's hitting at right now.
Okay, but are they all deep ones that he's missing?
I don't have that information, but I will tell you he does, and it showed again yesterday. Birmingham Stadium is outdoors. He struggles outdoors.
We only have 4. And then you get home field advantage, and let's just...
Well, no. And I don't care if anyone says, like, oh, well, now we can't draft him because he's missing field goals in big situations.
Bull.
Or not draft him, sorry. Sign him.
Bull.
It doesn't matter to me because it's not like we're signing him to be the kicker. We're bringing in him to be competition. So if
he might end up being that. He might end up getting signed.
If he beats out
Badgley,
by all means, let him beat out Badgley. That just means if he beats him out, that just means we had a better kicker than what we already had. And if he turns out not to be that great, imagine what we would have had if we would have stuck with Badgley.
I'd rather have him in our camp and give him the shot, and rather than see him go somewhere else and succeed and do awesome for somebody else.
That's all you're doing at camp is giving guys opportunities to compete. You're not just because they're on the team at that point doesn't mean they're awarded a position on the team. You still got to go through cuts and all that. So
I don't need a Justin Tucker situation. I'm not saying he'll be Justin Tucker, but I don't need a Justin Tucker situation where he's going to come into our stadium and beat us on a 64-yard field goal or whatever crap it was.
Yeah, and Jake Bates' career long is a 64 long.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Let's give him a shot if we can. So, I don't know.
15 for 22 through 10 games, and one of them was, unfortunately, the one that would have won them home field advantage this past week.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, but nonetheless, Michigan Panthers are in. They're playing the Stallions again next week in Birmingham again. They have lost to them twice, so 2 of their losses this year came to the Stallions. So hopefully the third time's the charm on that, and we wish the Panthers good luck for sure.
And I will say the first game that they did play them was week 2 back in the start of April, and they did only lose 20-13, so not like a blowout by any means. And then this last one, they just beat them. This weekend was 20-19.
Yeah, it was a close one.
Or they lost, sorry, 20-19.
And let's be real. If you know that you're playing that team in the same stadium the next week for the playoffs, you're going to be a little vanilla. I think both of those teams might have been a little vanilla.
You never know if they're not giving up everything or whatever. But I don't know. To me, it just shows both of those games that they're capable of beating them. It doesn't mean that just because they lost that game means they're going to lose next week.
No, and I just want to give a shout out to the UFL. I like what they're doing. Everything they do is really fun to watch. And I think the NFL steals some things from them, will steal some things from them, which is good, including players. I think we've touched on it before. This could be the G League of the NFL, essentially.
Where they test different rules before they bring them in.
Test different rules, pull talent in, not necessarily in the draft, do that kind of thing where people get, opportunities and chances. And it's exciting to see more football, and it's good that it's in the off season so we can keep watching people hit each other.
Well, yeah, it could for sure be another like pull rules, and I mean we already did that this year with the CFL rule. We pulled in that new kickoff format.
Yep,
and that's from the Canadian Football League. So
yeah, and I forgot that was the Canadian Football League. I thought it was UFL, so I've been watching them like, wait a minute, this isn't what they're saying the new thing is going to be, but I forgot it was the CFL that they stole that from.
Maybe they do is it the CFL where they get the opportunity to keep the ball if they do like the 4th down and 20.
I can't remember if it was that or if it was like the XFL that they did that in.
I remember you like, isn't it what it was if you score a touchdown and then you can either, it was the onside kick alternative. Instead of doing an onside kick,
you just keep the ball.
You get your offense gets the ball and you get one chance on like a 4th and 20.
Yeah,
and you have to convert it. If you convert it, you keep the ball.
If not, then they get the ball at whatever touchback.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I would be cool with something like that.
I don't know if I
end
would,
up eliminating
honestly.
the kicker altogether. Yeah, unfortunately,
I don't like it because if you've got a sucky defense but a really good offense,
yes, you could just start.
You don't even have to put your defense on the field.
They never see the field. Yeah, that would be something. But yeah, again, shout out Michigan Panthers. Go get them, boys. We want you guys to win this one. That's June 8th. I think it was. I can't remember what time. It was like 3 p.m. or something.
It's 3 p.m. June 8th,
ABC, ESPN. Check it out. It's fun. It's fun football. So that's all we have for you guys this week. We will be back next week. Hopefully, we'll have a couple of guests on here, and if not, we'll just keep plugging away. We'll have more stuff.
I'll be a little less red.
Well, I wouldn't guarantee that. You still got sports.
Yeah, but I've got sports
so.
outside, but I've got like 3 days recovery time by the time we record that.
You know what?
I'll powder my face up. I'll put some foundation on.
I'm gonna instead. So you're willing to wear foundation, but not sunscreen? Like you would? Yeah, I'm gonna go get sunburned and then wear foundation, but I won't do the sunscreen. I'm buying him sunscreen for Christmas. You guys, it's coming. So, yeah, I guess that's what we have for this week. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun on this episode, and now I've got to go edit this and try not to cry because of how silly it was, I guess. So,
okay.
Sign off, boy.
All right. Well, go Lions.
Go Lions, baby.